let's see certain things, certain not because of things. So just learn as experience, and maybe need to save the money, and then once you get your own place, you can be able to do all the things that you want to do. Next question.
Yeah. What's a good idea to to make money? I'm actually having a hard time. Ever since high school, all I've held was just small dead end jobs, Walmarts, convenience stores, fast food.
Uh,
I
well,
went
first,
I went to school for a machinist there, and that's just it turns out it was a trap because all these other places wanted more experience there, and just now that I actually found out that I might be okay at welding.
okay. Well, what you have to do is in that situation, you have to look at the area that you live in and see what type of business is thriving, and then you look at your own personal record of what kind of jobs that you want to do versus what are your limitations to do. Meaning, like if you have, let's say, like I just graduated with 2 PhDs, but the point was being is that without the PhD, I had experience, but I didn't have the PhD. Now I got the PhD. Now I don't have the literature, so I had to adjust to what's in my environment, area where I live in. And then sometimes you might have to go and talk to somebody in a job interview and convince them that it'll be a good idea to hire you because you're trainable, flexible, young, and you're not planning to don't leave, you know, the type of environment that you're trying to apply for anytime soon and ask them to invest in you. So you have to look at the area that you live in, and plus on top of that, look at your skills and limitations, what you can do and what you can't do. And if you do get a chance, maybe you might need to go online and go to school and finish up a career. I didn't get my PhD until then. I had to. It was in December, but I had my daughter, growing up, so I had to do certain things in the time frame that I was allowed to do. Okay, next question.
So, um, how do I fix some of the trauma and psychological and soul injuries from childhood and all the times I've been hurt in the past? How do I go and mend that?
But sometimes you have to be willing to certain things that I went through that was difficult. Meaning that if you have a chance, then if you could get the people that's around you and express to them how you feel and let them know what hurt you, build assertive, meaning that and once you do that, it's going to either be two things. They accept it, you apologize, you have to move and then move past it. Then there's certain things that you don't know. It takes a length of time to get over, and if they don't reach an agreement or feel the way you feel, then sometimes it'll haunt you for a longer length of time than others. I have some things that still haunt me at certain times, and as people always say, well, forget it and they try to move on and do some things I did get to move on from, and some I didn't. All thing you have the chance to do is just, you know, go to whoever friends you sit down and talk to them and let them know or injuries of your childhood how you feel. If they're not around, then there's nothing you can do other than accept it from self and push, and try to move on forward. And then by dealing with the aspects of it uh, on a daily basis until you can move away from it, that's not affect you. Some things you do, some things you can, some things you can't. You know. Okay, next question.
Um, I can't think of anything more really right now.
Okay, well, it's no problem. Mr. Cody, if you think about some other stuff and just let me know a time frame and we'll talk again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I know your phone time and things. Linda, I actually just, when I was texting you the other night, actually, my surgery went well, but I had TMJ and I'm not supposed to talk along at the time because I ground my teeth hard. And so I have high blood pressure and it's been very uncontrollable lately. And
I forgot to tell you yet I actually got my own phone now, but it's only the Safe Link's only 200 minutes a month.
Okay. Well,
I use it sparingly, so like we're pretty much good right now.
But if you got 200 minutes, I don't want to run through the 200 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
When did you get high blood pressure?
Yeah, my high blood pressure is at stroke level and heart attack. So I got to go see a cardiologist on Tuesday. And so they just told me to rest and things of that nature. So when I took my medicine after, it makes me sleepy. So after I talked, you asked me was it okay to talk, after the 80 minutes, I kind of fell asleep because, the medicine I take makes you go to sleep. But I just tell you what, what you can do. I did promise to answer all questions, and I'll keep my word on that part. Just think of whatever you need to think about, and give me, let me know when it's fine, and we'll take it up from there. Just do the best you can. Just try to be realistic about things.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why I say that before I end the conversation, I had a hard time just with my TMJ. Some things it was that I was not accepting the real reality of it, and it became a problem because I was still wanting to dream and try to hold hope to something that was not going to happen, and it's caused an imbalance, and that stress made my chest hurting, made my jaws and stuff, TMJ flare up, and so that's all I was telling you. I had to accept certain things as failure or things that wasn't, going to happen, and sometimes it's a hard thing to deal with. So that's the reason why I say it the way what I said. It's a hard thing, sometimes very much to deal with, and sometimes we just do the best we can with what we have. And everybody has a set of problems. So just like I said before, too, I think you'll pull through it. I think you look at it as a learning experience and use it as a motivation to push forward, to use that as a motivation to get yourself out of things and maybe to your own environment. Look at your education-wise stuff in, seeing what you like to do and what you know you can do and what you can't do. And sometimes you might have to take 2 part-time jobs, make a full-time. You just might have to do certain things until you get to where you need to get at. And you will within time. You're young and everything. You'll get there. Okay?
Yeah. And some problems like I know you had a nasal problem before. Are these tests from the spirits you work with? They give you health problems like this?
Yeah, I have health problems. You can get sick real quick. Usually I go through a period where I just came out was real sick, and the spirits and stuff for the gifts that you got, it can cause depression, stress. Also, too, if in a certain situation where you have health problems, and yes, that's part of doing magic and doing what that is health problems. So that could be it as well, along with the things that's in your daily environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like with this like depression, I wonder if like something is like putting pressure on me or like squeezing my aurora or something and it wants me to push back.
Well, a lot of time the depression really sometimes come on as there's things, certain things that you really would think that's supposed to, it's just life, whether certain things from your past that bother you. Depression is because sometimes things are not going where we think they should go. And, it can just be a lot of key elements because with magic, there is a consequence to all of it. And so a lot of times we might thrive in others, but when we do magic, you have to remember that that stuff comes back. And if you do negative type of magic, it can, like black magic and stuff like that, it can bring back. And if you send out something, it'll come back 3 times as harder. So a lot of times we get caught up in our own trying to practice and learn and doing things to where in the end we get caught up in negative certain things and they start, so the more you get deeper into it, the more spells become a success. It's another price that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've sent that kid that boy with the spirit attached to him.
Mm-hmm.
I sent him probably wrong to another friend of mine there who practices black magic. He isn't talking. He isn't talking to me in a while now, and I'm sorry for misleading this someone who can't be helped. I had no idea that he was not helpable. I should have talked to him more. I guess I had my hopes up too high or something. I'm just trying to do the right thing.
Well, we all do the best we can. It'll be sometimes in situations that we can help others in, and there's sometimes things that we can't. Just always just remember that as long as you've done the best you can out of the circumstances that you have, that's all to be asked of you. And sometimes don't put more pressure on yourself than basically that there's too much because it's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you have to accept that everything is not going to turn out and turn the way we think it was going to turn out to be, but we also have to turn around and look to set what we can do and move on from there. And there's going to be some successes, and there's going to be some things you're not success at. And just understand that when things come your way, just remember, as long as you do the best of what you can, that's all anybody asks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I don't want to run up to 200 minutes and we just sit here and not. And if there's anything you want to say, just send me a text and say, can I talk to you? And then we'll go from that point. And so I try to be open as much as I can to help you out in any way I can.
Oh, that's completely fine. We're only about 17 minutes in.
Well, that's fine, but 200, if you think of something else, then you want to call me back, or things. That 200 minutes can go real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was just saying, under circumstances, even though we done talk 17, you just don't want to really waste nothing by sitting here, and unless it's something else that comes up, then we can just put everything to rest until later, and that'll save minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just give me a call, let me know when you think of something else, and we'll go from there.
All right. Oh, I did think of something. Does the Illuminati also control the prisons there?
Yeah,
I was
yeah, they
wondering, yeah, they
control.
make everybody wear orange, like of all colors, white, orange. Are they being sacrificed to Saturn or some other entity corresponding to a color?
No, they just use orange and the bright colors because if you decide you're going to escape, I don't know what's the real meaning behind the orange, but it's kind of hard to get away with an orange suit on. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And running from that front. But for you to turn around and learn the full aspects of what is the reason why that color, maybe you can type it in Google it and it can give you a straight more definition than I can. I don't really know the reason behind the orange, just using that as a common sense part. You know, if you try to escape, it'd be kind of hard to escape with a big orange suit on. So, look it up, and a lot of times you can Google things and stuff. And yes, Illuminati and powerful people, even private citizens, if you would ever run across some money you want to sit there and invest, you can become a private prison. You can get people to invest into it along with yourself, and then y'all can open up a private prison and institution. But it pays a lot of money because the courts will send people to you. You can make money off that. So that's a lot of things with the rappers. They don't get residuals of music anymore because of the way there's no album sales. Most stuff is on SoundCloud or YouTube, so they make their money out of shows and how many negative stuff they can get people to do. If you listen to certain music and you go out to imitate it, you get locked up, and then that's how they keep things going in the air by putting things on television, movies, and making you try stuff, and by certain programs and you trying stuff, you end up going to jail, and so that's another way reason how they get paid as well.
Yeah, well, what inspired me to ask that question is I heard Mark Passio mention how war is basically a mass sacrifice and like the military uniforms. And I had another contact who is a magician who knows deep about this shit and said like they make like soldiers in the military all throughout history wear certain symbols um, that basically represent a certain deity they are being sacrificed to, and they think, oh, it's an eagle because it symbolizes America or freedom, like that. When really they're part of a mass Faustian pact and they're being sacrificed to Yahweh or some other deity.
Well, so I hadn't really got into that research on that level. That sounds something interesting, and maybe I might need to look into it, and just to type in to see, because everybody has a different point of view. That's something new for me that I never went down that path, and so now I hadn't went down that path, so now I might go down that way to check it out to see what the information behind that sounds like something interesting.
Well, it just sounds like the Illuminati is really compartmentalized. Then there is like the pyramids are like separated; they're all sliced up. Or the military-industrial complex is its own completely different branch. Then.
Well, there are different branches. It's like I deal with government and things of that nature. There's a music industry. There's television. There's certain parts. So to make up a complete, component to make it a whole pyramid, you take different sets, like major shrines, certain things, and certain things in that nature, and it fills it and makes the pyramid complete. So there's many pieces to make the puzzle, if you understand what I'm saying with that. There's many different secret societies and other stuff that actually make the component puzzle one pyramid. So everybody has a different role.
Yep.
Okay, was there anything else?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm good to take my medicine and good to go to bed and everything. So I appreciated your call and everything. Just let me know whenever you have something else, and we'll go from there.
I will. Sure.
Okay. And you have a good night, Mr. Strong, and just everything will be okay. Just learn to use the things that you're going through to try to use wisdom as solving problems, and that's what most of things are about, is solving problems and things. And so if not taking the step that's at hand that you're dealing with, try to solve it and go from that point. And, that'll be some wisdom for you that not only you can pass along to others, but you can help yourself. Okay?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. You have a great rest of your weekend.
You too.
All right, thank you, sir.
You take care now. Bye.